Wouldn't it be nice if removing the intake manifold on this were as easy as it is on this? I need a 4-barrel carburetor to install my new low-car kickdown and throttle linkage here. So we've got to replace this 2-barrel carburetor and intake manifold with the sweet LD340 Edlebrock my brother gave me, and an Edlebrock 650 carburetor. I'll be doing videos on everything in the process, so feel free to subscribe. But without further ado, let's take this bad boy apart. First things first, we'll remove all the existing throttle and kickdown linkage. I already removed the kickdown lever itself in a short I posted a while back, so we'll just have to take off the throttle cable and the kickdown mounts. I removed the carburetor choke thermostat thingamajig, and now we'll just take off this dirty old ignition coil. Make sure that you label all your wires as you go, especially if you have no idea what you're doing, like me. Go ahead and remove the hoses attached to your carburetor and set them aside. This here is the PCV hose. But don't remove all of the hoses attached to your intake just yet, otherwise you'll end up here. I made a small mess taking a coolant hose off without draining the coolant first. Who would have thought? I have a new radiator, so it's mighty easy to drain after giving the petcock a twist. Let the coolant drain quite a ways, that way you won't dump a bunch of it in the engine when you take the intake itself off. In my case, I took out about 2.5 butter tubs worth. I know, that's a pretty sweet system of measure. After that, you're all set to remove your coolant hoses for real this time. I'll also remove this water temperature sensor that snakes its way under my dash to the gauges. I made some messes for sure and hung one of the hoses from this random doohickey here. I don't know what it is. We're in the home stretch now, y'all. Just gotta remove the fuel line. As you can see here, I made a boo-boo and twisted up my line. Which is fine for me because I can't use it on the new carburetor anyway. Ah yes, I can even use it to my advantage and not make a mess. Now that's thinking. Now we just remove all the intake bolts. You don't have to remove the carburetor, but I just did so because of how dang heavy this cast iron intake is. And so I can let my brother have the carburetor for one of his projects. He deserves it and more for giving me this gnarly intake. At this point, you may be able to remove your manifold, but I cannot, as I learned here after a great deal of yanking. It's hung up on the valve covers, so I've got to remove those too. These cast iron intakes are really heavy, and can be pretty hard to remove. You'll probably need a pry bar to get it up. Just be careful leveraging here because you could break this timing cover on your engine. After a lot of struggling, this is the final result. Now I've just got to clean all the gasket surfaces, put on new gaskets, and put things back together again. All of that and more will be coming up soon if it ever stops raining. Until then, I'll ask you all to have a good one, and thanks for watching. I hope this video helped.